guys, Marvel Fan 45 here, and today we'll be reviewing 2001 A Space Odyssey. It was released in 1968 and directed by Stanley Kubrick, and it doesn't really star any big actors. Oh, and I forgot to say, this is the 90 sub special. You guys voted on it, so we will be reviewing on it. And yeah, I'm pretty excited to do it, but yeah, let's get into the plot. 2001 A Space Odyssey has four main plots. You follow the dawn of man. You follow Dr. Hayward Floyd going to investigate the monolith on the moon. You follow Dave Bowman and his crew going to find intelligent life. And then the ending trip. That's all I need to say about the ending. But yeah, this movie is not for everyone. So, it's slow, it's artsy, it's 3 hours. You really gotta pay attention to catch some of the stuff. I mean, it's similar to The Shining in that way, where like, if you pay attention, there's so much subtle stuff. But yeah, in my opinion, this film is a masterpiece. I mean, there legitimately is not a film like 2001. You can analyze it for, years, honestly. We have been analyzing it for years. I mean, it's such an interesting film to look at. I mean, the last 30 minutes alone and what the plot's actually about, because we don't actually know what it's about. I mean, rest in peace, Stanley Kubrick. Was one of the greatest directors. He's the only director I consider God tier. I mean, I've only seen 5 of his films, I believe. I need to pick up Paths of Glory, Clockwork Orange, Eyes Wide Shut, and Barry Lyndon. I'll be doing reviews of all of those on my channel for my first time reactions to them. But yeah, this is cinema, in my opinion. Let's just get into it. This is tough to talk about. So the acting it's amazing. I mean, the voice of HAL 9000 is iconic. Dave Bowman in those last 30 minutes, not the actor's name, the character's name, I don't know the actor's name. The guy who plays Dave Bowman in the last 30 minutes really has to show some emotions in a specific way that's crazy. But yeah, and then the guy who plays Hayward Floyd is too. The voice of HAL 9000 is just iconic. There isn't a bad actor in here. But yeah, what we really want to talk about is the direction. So Stanley Kubrick's direction in this film is amazing. I mean, the fact that he did this without CGI as well is crazy. I mean, that ending shot alone without CGI must have been extremely hard. Now it's one of the most iconic ending shots of all time. Same with Open the Pod Bay Doors, imagine how much effort went into that without CGI. I mean, a good comparison, I guess you could make to Kubrick. This isn't really, you can't even compare these two directors, but Refn with his use of color is extremely similar to Kubrick in the sense that they both sort of, Refn's use of color is very reminiscent of Kubrick's use of color in the ending of this film. That's the best way to put it, sorry. But yeah, Stanley Kubrick, the direction's gonna be great. The score to this movie, you've already heard the score. I know you've already heard the score. It's so iconic. That Dawn of Man opening sequence is extreme. The bone scene is pretty iconic, where the ape throws the bone up and it cuts to the spaceship, and then the score starts playing. It's an extremely iconic film. I doubt we'll get a film like 2001 today. I mean, there was no director like Kubrick. Kubrick is one of a kind. But yeah, now on to part two, the big chunk of this review. So in terms of direction, Stanley Kubrick would have all these subtle details. I listened to this guy's video. His channel is Collaborative Learning. I may or may not have just butchered his name, but he's amazing in terms of analysis. He did 2, 3, maybe 4 great videos on The Shining. Then he did a video on Poltergeist and Hereditary that are pretty interesting. And then he did, I think, 3 videos on 2001, which are all worth checking out. I mean, this guy puts in so much work just looking into small stuff in the films. Like, there's been in 2001, I didn't even notice, he pointed out, where, so Hayward Floyd and his friend are walking, and then his friends all stand up to greet Hayward Floyd, and then one of them has a blue sweater. She sits down, the blue sweater is gone. But if you notice, when Hayward Floyd and his friend were walking, before they even get to the friends, the lady at the front desk goes, "There's a blue sweater that's been missing and has been found." So that alone brings up questions. I mean, the movie's breaking a fourth wall without even telling you. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, this film's genius. But yeah, there are multiple interpretations of the film. Collaborative Learning pointed out that you can't really count Arthur C. Clarke's book as a way to explain the movie, because the book was made off the film, because Kubrick would show Clarke specific shots from the movie, then he would have him write the book off that. But I'm curious, actually, what's your interpretation of 2001: A Space Odyssey? Put it in the comments below. I've got 2 interesting theories right here. So, these both aren't my theories, I won't take credit for any of them. But yeah, the first theory is that the ending symbolizes a symbiosis between man and machine, which is an interesting idea, but my issue with that theory is you could just as well say that it's a symbiosis between alien and man, or just another species that hasn't been discovered yet. It's interesting because there's so much stuff to take into account, like how at the end, when Dave is looking at the monolith, there's no sound like there was before. It's an interesting theory. That's Clarke's theory, by the way. That's what he thought after seeing the film. It's an interesting way to look at it, because the entire movie, man is surrounded by machine up until the end. Yeah, up until the end. And yeah, that's a pretty great theory. The second theory is even more interesting. So, what if 2001: Space Odyssey is just an interpretation of the Odyssey? Which would make sense in a way. So, if we call, let's say, HAL 9000 is the Cyclops, and Dave Bowman is Odysseus, then, yeah, okay, that makes sense. Because Odysseus kills the Cyclops with a stake, and if you consider the key that Bowman uses in the end as a stake, then yeah, it could be the Odyssey, because in the end Odysseus does come back changed. Like, he doesn't come back that changed. The issue with all the theories is the ending. Like, how can you connect the Odyssey to the ending? Because there are so many interesting little details. Because, like, if you notice in specific shots, the Earth doesn't have continents. And if you know Kubrick, he doesn't leave subtle details out. So there's clearly intention behind that. The entire movie just could be him saying, we're still animals, which is an extremely, extremely dark theory, but it's an interesting one. But then if you look at the bone shot with the ape, when the ape throws the bone up, if you notice it goes back down, but it still cuts to the spaceship, which is counterintuitive to the shot, because the shot should be the bone just going up and you seeing the spaceship. So is Kubrick saying that we're always going to rise and fall, we're never going to stay up? It's such an interesting film to look at. I mean, I could talk about theories for days. Put your theories in the comments down. Put your theories, interpretations, thoughts on 2001 down below. In my opinion, this film is a cinematic masterpiece. Direction, acting, details, the fact that it's up to your interpretation. 2001: A Space Odyssey is beyond a masterpiece. And yeah, that's it for this review. I'll probably be doing... Well, no, I will be doing The Godfather Parts 1 and 2 eventually. I'll just be waiting a little bit on that. But yeah, 2001, an interesting film. And yeah, stay safe, stay quarantined, and have a good day.